This was in October of 2023, right? The last time she saw me was in January of 2023. And the last time she saw me, she slammed the door on my back, saying, "Get the fuck out of here." But 10 months later, in October, bro, she put a missing persons out on me because she ends up telling the police that they're worried that I'm gonna off myself. Despite her not contacting me, not seeing me. And the only reason why that happened was because that PO change of address saying, like, oh, she's actually gone. So it was crazy because the police really came to the storage unit. You really could hear everything in that place. And I heard the radio and I was just hoping, but then he knocks on my door and I'm like, oh shit. And then he tells me, like, yeah, your parents put a missing persons out on you. And I'm not gonna lie, I got upset. Or I started like I clearly got physically, or like I clearly got upset, like mad. And he's like, whoa, whoa, it's okay. And I'm like, okay. My bad. But I explained the fact that about the PO box address, and they're just like, oh, they clearly just put that out to like for control to try to like get me back. And after explaining that a bit, what do you call it? The police had like understood where I was coming from, because he's like, yeah, I don't know the last time I talked to my dad either. And then he said, like, well, you're clearly fine. You're an adult. They don't need to know. And I asked him, he's like, yeah, we'll tell them like you're safe, you're fine, but we won't tell them where you are. And I'm like, thank you. And it was crazy because he asked, yeah, but he was cool. So I'm just grateful that situation worked out well. But it's like exactly like I knew she would be doing some weird shit like that, like because she's weird like that, and really just wanted to have control over me, despite me being a grown-ass adult at that point, 28 years old. Like, it's funny, people don't see me as a person, they see me as a possession. Like, not even a person, forget adult. Shit. It's funny. I ended up leaving a few jobs, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make the rent for the storage unit. And the difference is, you know, versus like an actual apartment or something like that, you still have access, but once you don't pay, they stop your access. So you can't, you know, be in there anymore. And they put a lock on your door. So that, when I couldn't make the rent for the first time in January of 2024, that was very, very difficult for me, because that's the first time I had to go to like a legitimate shelter, and it was scary. It was very scary because, you know, with the stigma of shelters, and you know what they're like and the people you're probably around. Because I was thinking to myself, those people probably like do drugs, or like the theft you hear about, or just a lot of things. And it was tough, but God, he was with me every step of the way, for sure. And at the end of it, it wasn't that bad. It was, but it wasn't that bad. um, and I'm honestly just grateful for that, because, like I said, it wasn't the best, and staff, in the most respectful way possible, they can suck my balls, to absolutely suck my balls, because they were definitely on that power trip, to treat people like shit just because they were in power to do so. Especially the one who would treat people who were respectful the worst, like garbage. But the people who got mouthy, oh, they'd leave her. She'd leave them alone. Like, and it was to the point, like, this is after I got my job. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was a time. Worst job I ever had, but it's okay. I'll talk about that. Do a story time on that a little later. But yeah, it was after I got my job. So I was making money at that point in time, and I asked her, like, wouldn't it be better to have more people who are kind of respectful versus people who raise hell? And because I'm questioning, like, why she's treating me like this, or people like that in general. And she said, like, oh, like, kind of saying like, oh, it's more fun that way, in response to, like, having people who raise hell, it's more fun and entertaining than having the respectful people. So she's treating all the respectful people like shit so they could skedaddle or whatever the fuck, and she'd rather have disgusting garbage hell raisers, apparently. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Oh boy. But yeah, I think I was only lasted maybe no, it was like a couple weeks after that, because it just got so bad. And at that point I was able to pay off my storage unit, because it was like $2,000 some dollars, because each month round up was about $500 a month. So yeah, and this was like April. Yeah, it was April. I was able to pay off my storage unit, so it was like 4 months rent. So yeah, 2,000 some change because late fees and stuff. But yeah, I was able to pay it off, and it came to the point, like, I just moved back into the storage unit because there was no point being in that place. It was not good. So I moved back in, and we're fine. That job fires me, or they separated me. Like, it was really so bad. They had me sign NDA, so I couldn't sue them. Like, that's how fucking bad it was. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I would do another story on that. But so then I had to find something else. So I find a temp job at IKEA. It was great, but people love to treat me like shit. I think that's okay. So, unfortunately, but it was okay. I mean, it was what it was because it was temporary anyway. And unfortunately, the assignment ended. And I couldn't find another job in time. And in November of last year, I had to go back into another shelter. Sorry. It was really tough, but once again, God was with me, for sure. And it was really crazy because I was thinking I didn't want to go back to the other shelter, and I didn't even know where to go. Like, the day I left, I packed some bags and went to the library. I really had no idea where I was sleeping that night, but thankfully the library got a social worker, and she told me about this one shelter place, and it was nice. I mean, it was definitely a challenge because you couldn't stay there, or their hours were really short, but you had to be there at 5 and line up at 5 to make sure you had a spot. But then you had to, and you could stay there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but then you had to leave for an hour and a half and then you could come back at 9, and that's when you can go to sleep. And that was tough, especially because it was in the wintertime at that point, and it was so cold, especially trying to find somewhere to go for like an hour and a half, especially because I didn't have money at that point, and it was difficult. It was cold. I just thank God for like the couple of dollars I had to be able to sit in Burger King or Dairy Queen until that time. It was so cool because like one elderly dude was there, and he had said like, oh well, what I do is I ride the bus for an hour and a half, and I'm like, that's so smart. And it's like, so when I finally got a bus pass, or at least enough money for it, that's what I did too. Like, just catch the bus, hop on buses. It was sad, really sad sometimes, because then sometimes I just sat outside, and I decided not to do that again and just walked to like the library if it was early enough, because you had to leave in the morning too, or like Giant Eagle or something to sit down. But I'm grateful for it though. And that's when I heard about the program, the housing program they had. That oddly enough I saw when I was in IKEA. I saw it on the news called the 500 for 500, and there was a lot of people who were in the program at that place, but they changed it to where you can't be street homeless. You have to be in a registered shelter, and that place wasn't a registered shelter, so I had to go elsewhere, and all the other shelters were full at the time, so I had to do something I didn't want to do again. I went back to the first shelter I was at. The only thing I could say is at least I was prepared for it, understood how it worked, understood what I needed to do to protect myself from staff who like to get their rocks off on weaker people, for that matter. I knew if you try me, I'm gonna come for you. Like, you're not gonna keep doing that shit. Like, yeah, you one chance, you're done. And I guess she got the memo because she never fucked with me. And then again, it was it's like she got her wish, because there was a lot of people raising hell in there the second time around. So much she didn't want to deal with anybody for the most part. So I am happy I went there, because I was able to get a service coordinator, which helped a lot. Oh my gosh. Yikes. It helped so much. I thank God. Yeah. And then I got a call to another shelter, which is one of the better ones in the city, from what I heard. And saying there was a beds available there, and I'm like, yes, please, I'm going, instead of being in this place, because in the other one you only share a room with like 2 to 4 people, versus 30 women in one room, with a bunch of bunk beds. So yeah, and in the other one you had your own bed, and each room had their own private bathroom, which was so much better than 30 women sharing 3 bathrooms. Yeah, that was bad. So I was so grateful for that new place. It was a lot better. Oh boy. The staff could suck my nuts again, because same power tripping aspects there to how fun. But because I was in a registered shelter at that point, I was able to get on that housing list. And that was in January I was able to get on the list. And my service coordinator, she was trying to understand like where I was in housing, and I told her, I don't know, I'm on the list, I guess. And that's where I'm so grateful she was there, because with her connections, she reached out to somebody, and then someone reached out to me about it, and that was God. Oh my gosh. Oh man, that was great. And yeah, in August I signed my lease to my first apartment at 30 years old.
More people have homes in Allegheny County who didn't have a home just last June. That's when Allegheny County Executive Sara Innamorato announced the 500 Homes in 500 Days plan. And today, Sara Innamorato says that initiative has actually gone beyond its goal. Channel 11's Amy Hudak is in Squirrel Hill with this milestone in the fight against homelessness.
County Executive Sara Innamorato says it's more like 600 people in 600 housing units. Now, the building behind me, the flats on Forward, has 43 units that are a part of this program, thanks to a low-income tax credit.
So much stress lifted off of me.
If you ask Andrea Johnson, she will tell you the 500 in 500 program has been life-changing.
But here, it's like it actually was meaningful. And not only that, like just feeling like a person. Because
it's about creating affordable housing and getting those who need it, including parents, seniors, and people with disabilities, off the streets and into stability. Allegheny County Executive Sara Innamorato says she's proud of the work her administration has done, adding they've actually identified 582 units with 622 people moved in or in the process of moving.
Helping people to get back on their feet, to give them a chance of stability and a life of dignity is the most valuable thing that I can do as county executive.
The county executive says 97% of those who now have housing from this program have been able to maintain their leases, a success she attributes to government working collaboratively with developers.
With more permanent, affordable housing, more folks have a safe place to sleep through the night. And they can also now focus on all of the other important things in their lives, like their health.
The county executive says by creating all of this affordable housing, there has been a 93% decrease in homeless encampments since last summer. Reporting in Squirrel Hill, Amy Hudak, Channel 11.
It was crazy because, like, when I knew I was going to have to go back to a shelter, especially because, oh boy, because it's like, that's why I stopped telling people about things God told me, especially at the time, because God told me to not apply for a job when I was at the storage unit. Like, after IKEA ended, God said, don't apply. Just keep focusing on your craft. And that was scary because rent was due. And when I knew I couldn't make it, I was devastated. And I'm like, God, why am I here again? Why am I in the same predicament again? But come to find out that that was crucial for my life, like the plan, because like me, I would have just been fine, living in the unit. But God was like, no, I got something better for you. And that's why I'm just so grateful, and like that I listened, that I didn't just, do my own thing. Because like it says, lead not to your own understanding, but trust. And I'm so happy I did, because I couldn't make the rent again. I was able to get my own place. I mean, clearly God orchestrated all those things together, because I didn't even know where I was sleeping that night. Shit. So, and that's what I'm saying, like, every step of the way, God was with me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it was just crazy, because thinking, when I saw that on IKEA, and it was, I think I recognized a few of the people that was on the news, because they interviewed some of the people in shelters about like that new housing program. And I was thinking like, oh, that's cool for them. And thinking like, that probably wasn't going to be me. And honestly, like, even on the list, I didn't really believe it until it happened, not gonna lie. But I'm just so happy and glad that I stepped out on faith, because I always thought that I couldn't do it. Had no money, like no savings. My credit was shit. And, to get an apartment, you need some credit. I learned that because I got denied, and boy, it was so bad. Like when I tried to just get one years prior. just thinking I had to save buku bucks. But at the time when I moved in, I didn't even have a job, bro. Like, they paid my rent for the first 3 months, but then it's subsidized too, to go with my income of 30%. So it's like I don't even have to worry about money. Like, that's how good God is, man. Because I felt like I could never escape. I felt like I could never get out of there. That I always had to deal with that abuse all the time. But I didn't. It's like all I had to do was just step out on faith, and God just right there, right under me. Just like, I got you. Safety net, you're fine, you're fine. Just... I never thought, I really didn't see myself having my own place, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy, and so happy just that I don't have to deal with that anymore. I'm so happy. So, it's like, if you feel like you can't escape from a situation, whether it's, you know, living with a romantic partner, abusive family, or even something simple like roommates, you can. I swear you can. Even if you don't see a way how. It's really just the fact of just believing that there's better out there for you. That's where it came down to. Because even if it was just a storage unit, that was so much better than being at home. And even in the really hard times when I was in the shelters, that was still far better than being at home. I would do it again forever if I had to. And that's why I say, like, man, my brother had it good. Because there is a lot of opportunities out there that you don't really know about. You just hear passing by for that respective matter. But it's so nice because if someone does help you, they're just doing their job. They're not going to, like, sometime down the line be like, hey, I helped you. Where are you at? You owe me. Like my family would. Or hold it against your head like, oh, I did this, this, and this for you. You should be that. That's why I'm like, I'm so grateful for that, because they're just doing their job. They're not going to do that. They would have did it for anybody. Thank God. That's why I'm so grateful. And it's like, I don't know. Moving forward, I really just want to say that to all my family, I'm never coming back. I promise that. To go back to where I was or how I was, it's the equivalent of my life ending, like, legitimately. And I'm not doing that. I'm better than that. I won't accept less. And so, in other words, any calls, any texts, any messages sent on Messenger or anything like that, I will not respond to. And I will say I'm really sorry for, like, any extended family that would try and want to reach out to me, because I just can't accept that, because my immediate family is weird, and at that point it would just be like having a spy in my life, and I care about myself too much to allow that instability in my life, like have them a way in to know what's going on and things like that. No, so I'm really sorry, but at the same time, it's okay. It's not like we talked or you were in my life or vice versa. So, but I'm sad about it, but that's just how life works sometimes. And just like I was okay, everyone else would be okay without me there, without knowing what's going on in my life for that matter, without me in her life. And I'll also say that there's nothing you could do to try to guilt trip me for, to try to make me come back for. You can't buy me, because I've seen too much of you. I know that if you would do anything, it's only to try to get me back. It's only to try to get me into the spot that I was before, so that you can make me feel small again and punish me for ever thinking I could escape. So, and it's sad and difficult, but I've come to peace with it. Especially when it came to my dad. Because I believe that, or was just thinking the fact that if my dad had passed away when I was still living in the house, that's when I'd move out. Because then my stepmom would definitely want me out the house because she could. But just thinking about it in general, it's better that I left before that happened. And it's really tough sometimes, because sometimes I would have felt I felt like it would have been easier if my dad passed away, to deal with him not being in my life. And I don't mean that like saying like, oh, I wish he was dead, though. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the fact that see, if he passed away, it would make sense that I wouldn't have answers as to why he didn't care about me, because he physically couldn't give me those answers, you know. But the fact that I would never receive those answers while he's still alive, that hurt a lot. And that hurt so much more than if he could just passed away. Oh boy, it's like more seriously, mourning the death of someone who's still alive hurts so much worse. Because they're there. You could get the answers, but you're just not going to. So that hurts far more. And coming to terms with that, I legit talked to him one day and told him, like, I wouldn't come to your funeral. And I, which he probably felt some type of way about that. But, I mean, I told him, like, what's the point? You're already dead. You already would be at that point. In the casket. So it's like, am I just going to be there around people that I don't care about? No, that doesn't. Why would I do that? Like, and it's sad. And I'm going to use this example of, like, I was hospitalized for the first time, to my knowledge, in 2022. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was hospitalized for the first time in 2022 with a bad kidney infection. I got sepsis. Ooh. And yeah, they wanted to keep me there to make sure I'm good. And it was interesting because, like, my stepmom called me, and she's like, "Why don't you call your grandmother? Time is short. X, Y, and Z." And I do not care to get involved with that. We cut that off for a reason. But yeah, it's like, I was thinking to myself, if I'm feeling bad, I wouldn't want someone there that's only made me feel bad in my life. Like, why would I want that? Just because something bad happened to me? I'd have a much better time if the person that made me feel bad wasn't around me, if I'm going through a bad time, you know? And vice versa. If someone that made me feel bad was doing bad and like in the hospital or anything like that, it wouldn't urge me to visit them because I didn't want to talk to them on a good day. And I'm just telling the truth. So why would I want to visit them while bad? Like, it's the same concept. And I just wanted to like explain that to say you can't guilt trip me with anything. It's tough. But God prepared me for the worst and anything that would come from something like that. Because I had 3 different dreams about my dad. I guess 4 now. Wow, that's wild. Oh, okay, I just remembered the third one because I'm like, I don't remember 2. Yeah, okay, so the first one, I just want to explain this real quick. The first one was me and my dad, and he was getting ready, and he was getting ready to shave his face with a straight razor. But he was holding it at such an angle, it looked really dangerous. And I said to him, like, hey, it looks like you're about to cut yourself. And he gets so upset. And I mean so upset, like, how dare you say anything to me? And I'm like, okay. So I walk away. I'm like, whatever. I walk away, and it's like I'm watching a movie, and he's shaving, and all of a sudden, he just pauses. And I just knew he cut himself. So I rushed into the bathroom, but at that point, it was too late. I mean, the gash was just all the way, and I watched as he bled out on the floor, but knowing there was no point to call anybody because he wasn't going to make it. Like, that was difficult to wake up to. And then I had another dream shortly thereafter, like the next month. And my dad was in some backyard barbecuing on the grill, had some like a pan of food or something, and it was really nice. It was a nice dream. And then he is walking through the grass, and all of a sudden he collapses. And I run over to him, and I grab him and try to stand him up, but I knew he couldn't walk anymore, and he couldn't even talk either, like. And so, like, I'm holding him there as he's like just like terrified and like crying, but like can't even move. It was very difficult as well to wake up to, for sure. The third dream I had, and this was very shortly before shit happened, I suppose, and yeah, and we pulled the trigger. Yeah, that's the word. This one, I don't even remember what happened, but it was like, you know how dreams shift to a different part. I moved to a different part of the dream, and I peek my head around the corner of a building, and I see my dad. And I was really happy to see him, and I start walking to go up to him, like, because at first I'm just seeing him from his waist up, I go over to walk to him, and I see his entire body. And from his waist down, it was nothing but bone. And like the bones, like his bones were charred, like he was in a fire. And since there was no muscle or tissue on his bones, he couldn't walk, and he could only hop around. And that was so scary to me. In my dream, I screamed bloody murder. That was so terrifying. And then, like shortly after that, my stepmom comes in the dream, and she starts yelling at me, saying, "It's your fault for looking. It's your fault that you feel like this." And waking up to that, I understood. I understood that it doesn't matter what people try to present me with of any hard times or ailments or anything like that, that I'm not going back. Because that would be on me. Just like my stepmom said, it's my fault. It would be my fault. And that's what God was trying to prepare me for. Not to go back. Just like in the scripture, Sodom and Gomorrah, when he destroyed it, and Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. I won't go back. And it's really crazy because I recently had another dream. I dreamed that I saw my dad again. Like physically saw him. And he was laying on the floor. And I think he was fine. He was just really sad. But was so happy to see me and was hugging me. And just like so happy to see me. But then, out the corner of my eye, I see my stepmom. And she's holding a gun. And aiming it at me. And I'm thinking to myself, Dad, that not good. You know, that right there, that not good. But he does nothing. But what he does, he holds me down. So I can't move from my positioning. And I'm like, Dad. And my stepmom just dead aimed with that gun and shoots. And it hits me right in my mouth. And I felt myself bleed out and die. Once again, confirming that if I go back, it wouldn't be good for me. I thank God for these confirmations, to say the least. And not only that, that was just a confirmation of my life with him. He acted like he cared. Just like, you know, acting like, oh, I miss you so much. When all he's really doing is holding me down in my life. To my demise. Which is clearly something he wanted. Because the way he just gave me over to these people. Like, oh, she's getting beat. Ooh, tough for her. Ooh, she wants to off herself. Ooh, let me give her the room to do it. Shit. Like, and that's just the facts of what happened. And things I learned, I'm an adult. I can make my own choices. I don't have to deal with people if I don't want to. I don't have to do anything. I don't want to do. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. And it's funny, especially the Christians out there saying like, oh, well, what about, obeying your parents? First of all, it says children. I'm not a child. I'm 30 years old. So that's number one. Number two, I am obeying my parent. Because my only parent that's alive is my father. And one of the last things my father told me was, Andrea, you live your life and I'll live mine. And that's what I'm doing. Living my life. I'm obeying my parent. And that's an example of not to say things you don't really mean. Because I know he didn't mean it like that. But that's what he said. Yeah, so we are, if anyone wants to make that argument, obeying our parents. Third of all, just like Jesus, at a certain point of his life, said to his mother, that's your son. I'm not sure, I'm not yours anymore. That's exactly what this is. That's just what it is. Get mad, tough. I mean, there's nothing you could do about it. You could try. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But, you can't force me to do anything. I will never go back. That's over with. That's done with. That died a lot. Whew. Let me tell you, if you're trying to change your life, be prepared to die so much. I mean, let me tell you, the amount of deaths I went through on a metaphysical level, it was too much to count. Oh my God. Oh, it to the point it feels like actually just physically passing away would be easier. But yeah, that version of me is gone. It's like I'm still me. Please understand that. I haven't changed. But I have changed. You'll never see that again. And just understanding, if we happen to meet in passing, I really don't know how that interaction is going to go. I really don't. Because my first thought and instinct would be to avoid you. I mean, especially because all you want to do, like my immediate family, is just get information on me, and fuck that. No, I don't need to talk to you I don't owe anybody anything, any conversation, anything. Any of my time, my energy, nothing. Nothing. So, yes, and just letting people know I learned how to get a PFA, which is really helpful information. Just in case that needs to go out there, because people like to be weird, and not okay. But I will say I'm not afraid anymore, which is really, really good, and we're working through the fear of being seen, and or being silenced like they wanted to, and yeah. So if you stayed this long, wow. Wow. Yeah, but I will be back around. I'm not going to hide myself away anymore, because I'm worth being seen and showing myself and not hiding away just because some people don't like me, yeah. So, thank you, for listening, and, we'll be back more often. All right. Thank you. Bye.